For over 30 years, Le Virage has been a part of Walnut Creek. Serving a variety of stars, professional athletes, and local dignitaries, Le Virage will be closing its doors forever at the end of January 2005. We caught up with Lolik about his restaurant.
I was in the Lobster Trap restaurant in Foster City for 5 years. And a gentleman came to see me and he said, "Did you know there's a beautiful little old building? It's also a restaurant, but unfortunately it's not doing too well. Would you like to look at it?" So of course, I volunteered. I came over here and I fell in love with it. This building apparently is supposed to be 100 years old. When I came here, upstairs are private rooms now. But at that time, when I came here 34 years ago, the ladies of leisure used to do business upstairs. So of course you couldn't go through the restaurant. You had to go to the back of the restaurant, go up the steps. And when I came here, the first thing I've done, took all the beds out. And in one of the rooms, we found cowboy boots. It was very unusual. The gentleman must have been in a hurry. That's why he took off and forgot his shoes. Well, working for 5 years at the Ambassador Hotel, I met a lot of stars. We used to seat 960 people a show. Friday, Saturday, like Ed Ames, when he was just beginning, we had 3 shows, Friday, Saturday. I had 50 waiters, 25 busboys, and 17 captains. And can you imagine that? We had 45 minutes to get the first sitting out, redo the second sitting, smile, open the door and welcome the customers for the second sitting. Third sitting, we called the, it was no food for the third sitting, just cocktails. But here again, we had only 45 minutes to get the people out, reset the whole dining room and smiling. And at that time, Mr. Dick Stibill was the band leader. He had 24-piece orchestra. So you can imagine it was a big orchestra. But to recall the Ambassador Hotel, one of the most hardest people that is hanging up here on my wall was Mel Torme. He worked for good nearly 2 hours solo. He was very, very good. And of course, I met a lot of film stars there. Danny Kaye, Robert Goulet, Eddie Fisher. I met Mr. Liberace, and he knew that I was Polish, so he called me the Polish Prince. And he, at the end of his show, he was there for 2 weeks. At the end, he gave me a gold tie. So he said, "Lolik, I want you to remember one thing. Do not wear that gold tie." I said, "Why not?" "Well, if you put a knot around that gold, the gold will come off and you're going to have a green tie." So I made the decision not to wear it. We put it in a frame so it looks nice and it's hanging up on the wall. Oh, then of course I met Mr. Jack Benny. He normally used to give me $100 bills, but the film stars, they never give you cash. They normally put it in an envelope. And then when they come in, they say, hello, Lolik, and hug and a kiss, and the envelope comes right in my pocket, of course. And you take your hand out and you give them a hug also. And Jack Benny, that particular night, he had no money with him. He said, "Lolik, I'm going to send you some money." So I said, "I've never been greedy for money." I said, "Mr. Benny, that's okay, anytime." So he told his manager to send me a check. But of course he signed so many checks and he put down Lolik Yashinsky, $20, and he signed it. And of course he didn't know who Yashinsky was. Everybody knew me by Lolik. And so I still have got the check. I hung it up, so probably His accountant is still waiting for the check to come through. And then, of course, I met Mr. William Radley. He was the artist that painted outside the restaurant and inside. And he had a young gentleman working for him. He was his apprentice. His name was Scott Sear. And then Scott Sear, because Mr. William Radley accidentally got a heart attack and he died. So Scott Sear took over and he started painting the restaurant. And Mr. Radley told me, first of all, I said to him the building was so bad outside, full of pipes. He said, Lolek, I said to Mr. Radley, what do you do with the old building? Mr. Radley said, don't worry, I'm going to show you what we do. We're going to do a Toulouse-Lautrec design, inside and outside. So of course, the first thing he has done, he had to get the permission from Walnut Creek City. He started painting. And 3 times he was stopped by different inspectors. They said, no, you cannot do it, you can't do it. And then, of course, Mr. Radley was quite temperamental. He used various words and he said, you do it. And eventually I went to then at that time, Mrs. Kovar was the mayor. And she wanted a picture, that he would draw a picture what he was going to paint outside the building. So that was submitted to them and was approved by the city of Walnut Creek. Then he continued painting. I started with 3 other gentlemen a youth soccer organization called American Youth Soccer Organization. It was in Torrance, in Los Angeles. Then, of course, when I came over here, I started again the same organization. And just beneath the restaurant, I also love soccer. I was coaching the Walnut Creek Hobbits. It was a traveling team. And we won 15 games, lost 1. We were the champions. They sent us to Arizona. In Arizona, in Phoenix, it was a sunshine tournament, a 3-day tournament. And we got all the way to the final. Unfortunately, we lost 1-0 to Texas. Now the Horns, they've got the Horns. These little girls were quite, my girls had class. These girls were quite rough and quite tough. That's why we most likely lost 1-0. Well, I tell you, it's a very fascinating profession, our profession, the restaurant. But you must do it from your heart. Customers can tell a phony restaurant here and a true restaurant here. Now, what is the most important thing in a restaurant? That when customers come in, that you greet them and you look them straight into the eyes and shake hands. The communication is right there. Now, I train my own employees every Saturday from 4:30 till 5:30. I had a school here, they had to come and do it my way. If they want to do it their way, I used to tell them, sweetheart, the door is open, go and open your own restaurant and you see how long you will survive. We have been here 34 years, so obviously it worked nicely for us. And I've got one employee that has been already 29 years with me. Some have been 17, 16, 15, 13. And it's a very fascinating profession. But you must do it from your heart.
It's not really, you don't have your typical management and staff here where everybody's a number. We're pretty much a family here. There's been a lot of employees that have worked together for the last 10, 15, 20 years, and there's even a gentleman here 30 years, and we're like one big family. So we come in, and it may look like a disaster here at 4:30 when we arrive, but 5:30, everybody's tip top, ready to go. spit polished, shined, and ready to serve the guests. So it's like a big family. Most of the guys here that work here, we all spend time together at each other's homes on the off days, and it's not really like a work environment. We don't feel that way. You know, we have such a good time here, and everything flows so easily that I think it rolls over, and the customers see that, and I think that makes for a more relaxed environment for them as well.
Being here for 17 years, I mean, this restaurant has been more like a family to all of us. The experiences that we've had throughout the years are unbelievable. I mean, Lolik has created a restaurant that is just, can never ever be created anywhere else. I mean, from him walking around with a painting brush and a roller as customers are walking through the door, to watching another chef chase his son with a butcher knife through the restaurant, to having movie stars and football players and baseball players in and out of the restaurant all the time. It's just been a unique and wonderful environment. I mean, I spent half my life with the restaurant, with Lolik and everyone else, and it's just been one of the best times of my entire life. It's given me the ability to go from here to start my own restaurant in the next few months.
Last night we had R.C. Owens, you know, he is famous alley-oop that used to play for the 49ers. And he came, and of course I had little tears in my eyes because I've known him for 40 years. I've known him when I was living in the Lobster Trap. He used to come there. And when I met him for the first time, I never forget, it was very, very funny because he came in a white smoke with beads around him. So I said to my partner, dear me, I think there's a holy man from Africa just came here. And of course that was R.C. Owens. And the first thing, when he found out that I was Polish, he said to me, dobra, 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 that is good, good, good. Then I knew that he must have been in Poland. So he said to me, yes, I speak Polish, dobra, dobra. Only one word he knew.
There was one night about 11 years ago with one of the private rooms upstairs. There was a couple that decided they wanted to sit down. Actually, it was two ladies. They decided, and they were a couple probably, they wanted to sit down and have dinner. But they decided that as I sat them, they asked if, could we dine in the nude? Would that be okay if we dine in the nude? So they proceeded to take their clothes off, and they just ate their entire course. No funny business, just ate their entire course without any clothing on. And of course, Lolik right away said, Eddie, when I told him the story, I want to do all the cooking up in that table. I do all the cooking, tableside preparation in that room. So every single course, the Caesar salad, the flambe steaks, the crepes Suzettes, he wanted to go in there and do every single course on that one table, which I thought was very ironic, yeah.
A memorable story about Lolik. It'd probably be the first one. I was going to a class at Mount Diablo High School, which is Serendipity, which is a regional occupational program class. And Lolik would come in and talk to the class in October. And he would hire 2 people. And this was in 1988 when he came in and, you know, bigger than life and talking about the restaurant business and you know, telling everyone the true stories about it and all of that. And there was always one portion of the story that to this day, every time I do something with, he always brings up, and it's embarrassing, is that he would tell all the boys to make sure that they changed their underwear before we would go out in case anything happened to them, that they were always had clean underwear on. And he always made sure that everywhere we were that he would say that. And also another good story about Lolik's personality. We all went down to Rancho Mirage for a restaurant association meeting, which he was a president of, and did a lot of work with the restaurant association for California. And we were all sitting by the pool, and Lolik standing up on the veranda overlooking all of Death Valley and everything else in his teeny weeny bikini, yelling to all the women, "Here comes Lolik, better be careful." And so those were always ones, but I don't think there's just one story that can ever just put one thing down for all the memories that we have of this restaurant.
As you know, I've been here 34 years. Unfortunately, my heart is breaking down because I love my profession. However, all good things must come to an end. And we made the decision to close the 29th of January. I don't know how long the building will be here, so hopefully I can have my school here in the restaurant. And of course my wife is very excited because she said I will be at home now and we have got more details to do at home. There's always, if you have a garden, there's always something to do, and she's from England, she loves flowers, so I'm the digger and she's the planter.